Welcome to Vancouver, one of the biggest and most diverse centers in all of Canada, a popular destination for tourism, shopping, and sports. More than 2.4 million people call this area home. But past the expensive high-rises and glitzy districts lies an ugly mark. East Hastings, the infamous downtown Vancouver streets, is only minutes away from the trendy and upscale Gastown community, and a cold reality for thousands who suffer with drug and alcohol addiction. A far cry from many communities across the country, but the harsh lessons here can hopefully be used for good at home.
This is the worst place in Canada, the hardest streets. I've been to every city, and by far the worst neighborhood.
Nationwide and obviously worldwide, drugs are a huge issue, but this area is significant.
These people's dead. I mean, literally dead.
There's no 60-second time clock on this. You know, 3 periods with an intermission and a referee.
How many times have you been stabbed?
18 times, shot twice.
It's not where you want to be. I'm telling you.
This is Project Keep Straight with the Lloydminster Bobcats. For Noah Bald, Troy Van Teetering, Cole Josephchuk, and Evan Schumi, playing in the Alberta Junior A Hockey League means dedication, perseverance, and sacrifice as each player competes at their highest level possible. Now, the streets of East Hastings may be worlds apart for these 4 athletes, but it's a world they will soon learn more about. This as they take part in the RCMP initiative Keep Straight, a chance to get up close and personal with those living on the street and learn about the effects of addiction firsthand.
I've seen that area before, and it's one of the scariest places I've been before. And I was just driving through in a car, and so when I heard that we were actually going to be on the ground, I was pretty scared, to be honest.
To be honest, I was a little bit nervous at the beginning because you kind of hear some things that it's a pretty scary place and there's a lot of drug activity going on.
Nationwide and obviously worldwide, drugs are a huge issue, but this area is significant. It's very open, and it's almost accepted because of the massive amount of people. In a small geographic area, there's 5,000 to 6,000 hardcore drug addicts, whether that's injected, smoked, alcohol pills.
Before the Bobcats can take to the streets, it's time for a lesson for what they're about to see. A 24-year veteran of the Vancouver Police, Sergeant Mark Steinkamp, spent the majority of his time working a footbeat on Vancouver's downtown east side. He's also a founding member of the Odd Squad, a group made up of officers, former officers, and volunteers who educate the public about addiction.
So across the street, it's 18.
He told us how drug dealers can lure you in and give you the first one for free, and then just eventually they make you pay, and then they have you as a returning customer, and by that time you're probably a full-time drug addict.
This is April Rioch. April, this picture, she's about 17 years old. Al Arsenault, one of the founding members of Odd Squad, 7 of us started Odd Squad. So saw her in Pigeon Park, which you'll be visiting tonight. In a few short months, this is her. Incredibly sad. Here's this beautiful young girl who, at 14, had a child, felt that she was missing some of her childhood, and she didn't run away from home because she had a very supportive home. She kind of ran to the street, and she ended up in an environment like the downtown east side.
I want to know what I can learn, who I can be. I would love to be a mother with my son.
He wasn't holding back on any of his stories or anything, and it's definitely a lot more shocking view of what really goes down there. It's not as sugar-coated for sure.
I didn't think it was as easy, and like obviously you always hear like, oh, it's not going to be me, or like this and that, but you see it, and like seeing it firsthand and hearing it firsthand really like changes your opinion on it.
You don't really think about the damage and the grip they can have on people until you get to see it in Hastings and hear it from a guy like him and actually explaining what can actually happen with that stuff.
Wherever addiction is, whether it's Vancouver's downtown east side or in Lloydminster or Prince Albert or the Battlefords or wherever, addiction is completely preventable. I continually see people, especially at a young age, not understanding where their choices can lead them.
My education comes from Street 101. Lived it, been there, done that. At the end of the day, don't even know why I'm actually here. It's no longer Joe's journey. From that prison floor, with that last charge that I had to face the music on, with $10 worth of crack cocaine that I had to sell, and I was selling to support my habit. And along walked Kevin, Torvik, you know, gang, task force, policemen, biker squad, fully decorated, and all this stuff. And I'm on that floor and I'm broken. And I'm going through withdrawal. What are they doing?
Joe Calandino is one of the lucky ones. A former Hells Angel gang member, he battled addiction himself and now works with the community to help keep local kids from falling into the same holes that he did.
He was pretty intense, dude. He talked a lot about the violence and just what it's like growing up down there and how it kind of falls into a cycle when, you know, your parents do it or your friends do it. It's easy just to end up being just like them, and it shows a lot how the people you hang out with can influence who you're with.
He told us a lot about how just how ruthless and how intense that world is. That it's really hard to escape from once you get into it. And he was a big advocate of, you know, getting kids off it early. The program he started and everything. He really believed in that. You know, young kids get, you know, roped into that kind of lifestyle early, and then it's really hard to get out of it.
How many success stories are there once somebody embarks in that particular lifestyle? There's not a lot, right? The likelihood of, and evidence speaks to this, of you coming out of addiction and or, you know, gang lifestyle, the numbers are completely against you. So about 7% make it out of it. That's it.
The numbers may be shocking, but it's a reality on East Hastings. The best way to stop it? Education, according to Calandino, and reaching out to kids early. That's why he supports the Bobcats' efforts tonight.
It's going to be an eye-opener. It's going to be an eye-opener. But at the end of the day, I'm hopeful that they're able to take away kind of where we went with the presentation and see that at the end of the day, it is somebody's brother, sister, mother, father, child, uncle, aunt.
Just to show that they're real people, they're not just drug addicts on the street, right? And that, you know, like everyone has a backstory. They didn't start out as crack addicts. They weren't born crack addicts. And they probably were doing something before, but just one wrong turn, it snowballs, and they ended up on the street.
Just to, you know, let us know that they're just like everyone else. They're just like the people we see every day here in Lloyd, and the people we saw in the streets of Vancouver. You know, they're just people just like me and you, and they just had a little bit of bad luck and a little bit of different path in life, and that doesn't change the person they are. It's just different circumstances now.
You never know where that journey is going to lead. That 1 second, one moment, all of a sudden you identify with X, Y, Z, or A, B, C. You know, what is the end game? What is the end result? There's no 60-second time clock on this. You know, 3 periods with an intermission and a referee. There's no referee, there's no time period, and good luck to you if at the end of the day you want to take a look at anybody that ends up in that lifestyle. Hit play, hit fast forward, go to the last 5 minutes. What's always the common theme?
Coming up, the Lloydminster Bobcats hit the streets of East Hastings.
It's a collection for you.
What's that?
That's a party glove.